drink.
Morning Kick has probiotics to help you lose weight, prebiotics for digestion, superfoods for muscles and joints, and powerful anti-aging supplements. It'll help you feel youthful, energized, and helps manage stress.
I look and feel better than I have in years.
Go to roundhouseprovisions.com, use code SUPPORT, or text SUPPORT to 511-511 and claim 40% off. Roundhouseprovisions.com, code SUPPORT.
Every purchase comes with our 90-day money-back guarantee. You could be feeling these changes within just a couple of days.
Text SUPPORT to 511-511.
These statements have not been evaluated by the FDA. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease. Tax fees may apply.
You hear more and more about identity theft in the news every day. That's because so much of your personal info is out of your control, like your insurance provider that has your social security number and your favorite retailer that has your payment details. If they get breached, your information's vulnerable. That's why LifeLock monitors millions of data points a second for threats. If your identity's stolen, they'll fix it guaranteed or your money back. Save up to 40% your first year with promo code PLAY at lifelock.com. Terms apply.
From the Stanley Theater Studios, WIBX Utica, Rome, W295EI, WIBX 950 and 92.3 FM, a Town Square media station.
House Republicans point their fingers at the White House. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News.
Afghanistan was the spark that lit the fuse on the chaos that we're seeing around the world.
Congressman Michael Waltz tells Fox Vice President Harris, now the Democrats' 2024 candidate, shares the blame with President Biden for the 2021 U.S. withdrawal from Afghanistan that turned chaotic as the Taliban took back control of the country and included a suicide bombing that killed 13 American troops.
It says Biden administration officials misled and directly lied to Americans during every phase of the process of pulling troops out of Afghanistan.
Fox's Brian Yennis. Both the State Department and House Democrats dismissed the report as partisan politics. Syria is claiming Israeli airstrikes overnight killed at least 14 people there.
Two regional intelligence sources have told Reuters the target was a major military research center for chemical warfare. It's believed a team of Iranian experts were there, involved in producing weapons.
Fox's Jonathan Savage. 3 Israelis were shot and killed at a West Bank and Jordan border crossing by gunmen killed by Israeli security forces. They'll soon start day 3 of the manhunt in Kentucky for the highway shooter who fired at cars on I-75, wounding 5 people Saturday.
We do know this guy is armed, supposedly armed, and that's why, he could be sitting, and, we're not going to be sitting ducks.
Laurel County Sheriff John Root, they're searching a wooded area for the suspect. Joseph Couch, some schools in the area canceled classes. Drama off the field on week 1 of the NFL season. Dolphins receiver Tyreek Hill was stopped by police reportedly for reckless driving outside the stadium and then handcuffed. He was soon released and then scored a touchdown in the game in the Dolphins' 20-17 comeback win over Jacksonville. As for what happened, Hill says,
it wasn't disrespectful, because my mom didn't raise me that way. I'm still trying to figure it out, man.
So our police in Miami, an officer is on administrative leave. America's listening to Fox News.
For anyone living with everyday aches and pains, there's a lot of things you can try. Tough it out, bite the bullet, grin and bear it. Or you can try something that has helped so many other people, Relief Factor. Relief Factor is a 100% drug-free daily supplement that helps your body fight pain naturally. Developed by doctors, Relief Factor uses a unique formula of natural ingredients that addresses the inflammation where pain starts. And Relief Factor doesn't just mask pain for a short time. It helps reduce or even eliminate it all day, every day. Wherever you're hurting, your back, neck, joints, or muscles, in about 3 weeks or less, you'll see a difference and rediscover what it's like to feel better and live better. So if everyday pain is affecting your life, don't go with the mind over matter approach. Try Relief Factor instead. Go to ReliefFactor.com or call 1-800-4RELIEF and save on your first order. That's 1-800-4-RELIEF. Fight pain naturally with Relief Factor.
She's ready. That's what Vice President Harris told reporters in Pittsburgh, where she has been prepping for tomorrow night's ABC presidential debate, the first one between her and former President Trump. After a New York Times Siena poll shows the race essentially tied nationally.
The ABC News presidential debate will be held at the National Constitution Center in Philadelphia. There will be 2 commercial breaks over 90 minutes. Microphones will only be hot for the person speaking and muted for the person who's not speaking, similar to the debate former President Trump had with President Biden, though there had been some debate about those rules. Last week, the Harris campaign agreed to those parameters. Each candidate gets 2 minutes to answer a question, 1 minute for follow-ups or clarifications, 2 minutes for rebuttal. Former President Trump won last week's coin toss and chose to offer the final closing statement. Vice President Harris got to pick where on stage she'll appear, and she will stand on the right side of the viewer's screen. Jessica Rosenthal, Fox News.
Fox News Radio will provide live coverage and a simulcast of the ABC debate starting at 8 p.m. Eastern Time tomorrow. On Wall Street, stocks could rise to start the week. Dow futures up more than 200 points after a big sell-off. Last week, the Dow dropped almost 3%. The Nasdaq's nearly 6% plunge was its worst week since 2022. Now back to the NFL.
News broke Sunday morning of the Cowboys and Dak Prescott agreeing on a 4-year, $240 million contract extension. He becomes the NFL's first $60 million per year player. The $231 million guaranteed dollars tops Deshaun Watson's previous record by $1 million. The Cowboys then blew out Watson and the Cleveland Browns 33-17.
That's Fox's Tim McMaster. In the Sunday night game, the Detroit Lions beat the LA Rams 26-20 in overtime. Yannick Sinner won tennis's U.S. Open, beating American Taylor Fritz in the men's final, and Joey Logano won the NASCAR playoff race in Atlanta to advance to the second round. I'm Dave Anthony, and this is Fox News.
Good morning. WIBX 950 AM 92.3 FM News Time 7:05. I'm Andrew Domenio. Right now, we're barely to 50 degrees under clear skies. Your full weather forecast is coming up. This update brought to you by John's Mobile Home Parts and Accessories in Oriskany Falls. For all your mobile home needs, it's worth the trip. Go to johnsmobilehomeparts.com for more information. Facilities workers at Syracuse University won't be missing any days on the job after approving a brand new contract. The deal between the school and SEIU Local 200 United employees includes an almost 20% raise over the next 5 years and a 10% pay bump effective immediately. SU originally proposed an over 14.5% raise, but it was rejected because workers said it wouldn't help them with the cost of things like rent, food, and parking. A strike was possible if an agreement was not reached. The doors of the Johnson Park Center's new indoor food pantry in Utica will open today to the public. Normally, visitors have to drive or walk up to the pantry on West Street to get food, but that no longer has to be the case. Low-income families and single folks who meet eligibility guidelines can visit and get help, and new applicants are asked to bring a government-issued ID like a birth certificate, driver's license, or Medicaid card. The pantry is open from 3 to 6 p.m. today and throughout the weekend. Utica Rome motorists are still seeing savings at the gas pump thanks to yet another decline in prices. AAA says the average cost for a gallon of regular fuel is now at $3.52 a gallon. That's down 5 cents in the last week and is 1 dime less than this time 1 month ago. Right now, the state average is $3.43 a gallon, while nationally it's $3.27. Summer is winding down, but the state's Get Offline, Get Outside program is being called to success. The initiative urged kids, children, and their families to put down their phones and other electronic devices and spend time outdoors instead. From July 3rd through Labor Day, there was a nearly 36% rise in state park pool attendance. Part of that increase can be attributed to swimming pool entry fees being waived. Locally, the Robert Trayman State Park Pool in Ithaca is now closed for the season. And the Mega Millions jackpot is now up to $800 million. Nobody matched all 6 numbers in Friday night's lotto drawing. The last time someone won the grand prize was back on June 4th. So now the Mega Millions jackpot rolls over to Tuesday's drawing when it will be worth an estimated $800 million with a lump sum option of $400 million cash. But don't throw away your tickets just yet. There were 6 tickets sold that matched 5 numbers and are worth $1 million each. It is 7:08. Your weather forecast is brought to you by Clinton Tractor, the leader in service. Visit clintontractor.net. For today, we will see a chance of rain, showers, maybe a thunderstorm, otherwise partly sunny with a high near 70. Showers and thunderstorms likely overnight with a low in the low 50s. Then tomorrow, partly sunny skies become mostly sunny with a high in the low 70s. Then we'll be creeping up into the 80s throughout the rest of the week and into the weekend. Right now, a chilly 49 degrees under clear skies at 7:08. Sports brought to you by IBEW NECA 43 local contractors. Wow, what a wild, exciting, crazy week one of the NFL. And we saw a lot of great matchups. But we'll get to that in a second because the Buffalo Bills, they'll start their season 2024 with a win after rallying for a victory at home. Bills quarterback Josh Allen threw 2 touchdown passes and ran for 2 more. As his team came back from a 14-point deficit to defeat the Cardinals 34-28 at Highmark Stadium. Meanwhile, the New York Giants, they lost by a score of 28-6 against the Vikings at MetLife Stadium. Aaron Rodgers makes his return to the field official when he starts under center for the Jets in tonight's season opener. Rodgers is back after suffering that season-ending torn Achilles during last year's opener. Gang Green finished third in the AFC East after going 7-10 last year. They'll play San Francisco tonight on Monday Night Football. The Mets were unable to extend their winning streak to 10 games after falling to the Cincinnati Reds 3-1 in their series finale at Citi Field. They are tied for the last NL wildcard spot at 78-65 and will visit the Blue Jays for a 3-game set that begins tonight at Rogers Center. The Yankees dropped their series finale at Wrigley after falling to the Cubs 2-1. Garrett Cole was charged with the loss. The Yankees are leading the AL East by a half a game at 82-61. They'll host the very, very red-hot Kansas City Royals for a 3-game set that begins tonight at Yankee Stadium. The Syracuse Orange are now 2-0 after squeaking out a 31-28 victory over Georgia Tech at the JMA Wireless Dome. The Orange are off for Week 3 and will host 1-1 Stanford on September 20th, as Smitty said on ESPN.
And that game wasn't as close as it seemed.
Right, yeah, they kind of just let the gas pedal go a little bit, foot off the gas pedal towards the end.
And I was telling Andrew this morning when we both were here this morning before the news at 6 o'clock, and we were discussing some sports action. Syracuse got honorable mention for the AP poll. They're actually 28. They're getting some votes.
They're working their way to that top 25 threshold.
And they're 27 in the coaches poll. So, but you knocked off a top 25 team, but I just don't think Georgia Tech was as good as they thought.
Yeah, I mean, they had that win against Florida State, and everybody thought, oh boy, here they come. They're an awesome team.
If Northern Illinois didn't knock off Notre Dame, Syracuse probably would have been 25 instead of Northern Illinois.
All right. Well, we won't make any changes this week because they have a bye. And then but there are some challenges. They've got some big ones.
Well, they have Stanford on Friday the 22nd, and then they have Holy Cross.
But the second half of the season is tough.
Yeah, Miami,
Boston College.
Yes, North Carolina State. Yeah. They traveled to Vegas to take on a very good UNLV team.
So if this team is as good as we think it might be, there's some real opportunity coming up later on in the season.
I didn't go to the game on Saturday because I had other stuff I had to do.
Okay.
And my buddy texted me after he got home. He said some of the fans were yelling, "We love Richard Pryor," because of Fran Brown lookalike.
Okay, I said that last week, and he looks like Richard Pryor.
Yeah, they were chanting a little bit. We love Richard Pryor.
I love that. So it wasn't just me. I thought, I'm like, maybe I was out in left field. He also had a real problem with the coach from Georgia Tech.
Yeah.
Apparently they have coached together and competed against each other in the same conference, played year after year, but the Georgia Tech coach played it up last week like he didn't even know who he was. And Fran Brown was very offended by that.
Yeah.
So all week long. He just kept pounding it. And the other thing was basically saying Syracuse was not as tough. The players weren't as tough as his Georgia Tech players. And he just kept drilling that into their head all week long. And at the end of the game on Saturday, basically said, here's how it goes. If you're an opposing coach, keep your mouth shut about us, because if you don't, you're going to give us another reason to beat you.
Right.
I like it, said Richard Pryor. All right, we'll get into I really want to talk about this school shooting, another school shooting. And this time, I think we're going down the right road, arresting the father.
I agree.
What was this guy thinking? First of all, there was a report made by the parents that the kid was unstable and they took his guns away. Took his access to guns away. But what does the father do for his birthday?
Merry Christmas.
He buys, or was it Christmas?
Yep.
Buys the kid an AR-15. And look what happened. The mother also knew something was going on. She called the school to warn the school of an emergency situation. And at the end of the day, it just wasn't in time. But the dad being arrested, I want to get Sheriff Maciel's take on all of this. Coming up, we'll speak with him. It is Boater Safety Course Week, I believe, or at least the date's out.
Well, starting next year, if you want to operate any boat whatsoever, any watercraft, you will have to have the course. Yeah.
Oh, I used to rent and take off.
Yeah, not anymore.
Can't do that anymore.
Nope.
Okay. We'll get to it with Sheriff Maciel coming up in a second. Stand by. It's Monday morning at WIBX.
This is Dr. Robert Fleischer, urologist with Mohawk Valley Health System. MVHS, in collaboration with Upstate Urology, is hosting a free prostate cancer screening event throughout the month of September to recognize Prostate Cancer Awareness Month and encourage men to get screened. Prostate cancer is the most common cancer and unfortunately the second leading cause of cancer death in American men. Approximately 1 in 8 men will be diagnosed with prostate cancer during his lifetime. Early diagnosis of prostate cancer significantly increases the likelihood of survival. The free screenings include a prostate exam with a prostate-specific antigen blood test. I strongly encourage all men aged 45 to 75 to participate. Early detection can mean the difference between life and death. For more information or to register, please visit mvhealthsystem.org or call 315-624-4600. That's 315-624-4600.
What's your design inspiration? A picture on the wall? A photo from a magazine? A board you've made on Pinterest? Hi, this is Kira Meelan from Meelan's Carpet One. It's amazing what some of our customers bring to us for inspiration, and we love working side by side with them to help turn their flooring dream into a reality. It's actually one of my favorite parts of the job, helping you to discover your perfect flooring. And there really is so much to discover. Consider the latest flooring trends as you plan your next home project. Many of our customers are surprised by the incredible new choices we have available. For example, today's snap-together waterproof luxury vinyl is incredibly popular. It's durable and it's stunning, with so many styles that replicate hardwood and beautiful stone looks. We have options that inspire, designers who will help bring it all together, and always a beautiful installation. To get the perfect flooring, start with the right flooring store. Visit Meelan's Carpet One on Commercial Drive East in Yorkville.
Are you looking to make a difference? Holland Patton Central School District is now hiring bus drivers. Make a difference in students' lives while engaging in a great career. Full and part-time positions are possible. Applicants must be 21 years of age or older with a Class B CDL license. On-site training is available for those who do not currently hold a license. Benefits include New York State retirement and paid time off. Apply today at oneida-portal.mycivilservice.com/post/other OPP or call 315-865-4103 for more information. Are you a human service professional who finds strengths in every family and potential within every child? Consider becoming a caseworker with the Oneida County Department of Family and Community Services. You'll receive a generous starting salary of over $55,000, a comprehensive benefits package, and annual salary increases, all while working a 35-hour work week. Oneida County is filling several entry-level caseworker positions on their dynamic caseworker team right now, and no civil service test is required. For information and application, head to OneidaCountyJobs.com.
paid for by Christian Care Ministry.
You know, a lot of times you have to choose between something high quality or something that saves you money. But if you could get both, why not? Especially when it comes to health care, and that is MediShare. You get both. Many families save $500 a month with MediShare, and that's huge. But it's also true that people wind up way more satisfied, too. The member satisfaction rate for MediShare is double that of the typical health insurance plan. Double. That's because MediShare works. It has for more than 30 years. It's a community of Christians who have shared more than $5 billion of each other's bills. People love having telehealth. They love the huge PPO network. So, yeah, really, you can save a ton and like it better. Imagine being happy with how you're taking care of your health care. So if you're self-employed or part of the gig economy, or you just want a plan you're happy with, you can call right now and get a price in 2 minutes. Here's the number. Just call 855-51-BIBLE. That's 855-51-BIBLE, 855-51-BIBLE.
Hey, everybody in upstate New York. I don't know where in upstate New York, but thanks for listening to the Keeler Show. Never met this man. Don't know why I'm telling everybody to listen, but thank you very much. By the way, this is Larry David from Curb Your Enthusiasm. I have nothing else really to say to you, but I thank you for listening to me tell you to listen to this man, Bill Keeler, on WIBX.
WIBX. This is Keeler. WIBX 950 and 92.3 FM. Now back to the Keeler Show.
Mike this morning saying, I am definitely believe the father of the shooter should be held responsible for what happened. I read a bit about the background of the family. It's pretty awful what the children had to go through. I do have a question. Is there any responsibility for the kids who apparently were bullying this kid pretty badly, constantly saying he was gay? While I totally believe in freedom of speech, there is also responsibility for the things that we say. So this kid was really getting bullied, they say.
Yeah.
Well, isn't that the case with every one of these shootings? The kid was a bit of a loner. He felt bullied.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I don't. I think it's common in a lot of these shooting cases. Sheriff Rob Mashel on the line right now. Before we get to boating, let's go to this shooting. Another school shooting, and Sheriff, the father being held responsible.
Good morning, guys.
Good morning.
Absolutely. You know, as parents, you have a responsibility to ensure that certainly, you know, your weapons are secure, but also you have a responsibility to ensure, I mean, if you're giving a child a weapon or firearm, obviously you want to make sure they know what they're doing with it, they know how to practice safety, and that they are mentally stable also. So there's a lot of responsibility in, you know, the law does allow you to gift weapons to certain people depending on the circumstances, and you got to make sure you're being responsible when you do so, because unfortunately tragic events like this continue to happen.
They do continue to happen, and you know, and here's a case where the kid had full access to a weapon like this, was suffering from some sort of mental issue, emotional issue, and the enabler in this case was the father.
Exactly. You know, and again, here's a situation that, again, we don't know the whole story yet, but the situation probably could have been avoided if the parent was properly parenting.
Yeah.
You know, obviously that's a very tragic thing. And I heard you talking a little bit this morning about our local incident here, not in this county, but a neighboring county.
Mm-hmm.
Same thing. I mean, if you're going to carry a weapon, I don't care who you are. I don't care what job you have. I mean, you have a responsibility to safely carry that weapon and to ensure that no one gets hurt with it. And unfortunately, this local incident, there was some lack of responsibility here. And obviously, we're waiting to hear the answers, because I know if that involved anyone in this area, it certainly would be out there, and I'm just curious as to why it's not. You know,
it's shocking that we're coming up on a week and there's still no word from the responding police agency With the schools not able to talk again, I don't know. Even the DA, I believe, has not released anything up to this point. Somebody has got to come forward on this. And you're right. If this happened in Oneida County, there's no doubt this story would be out and there'd be answers for people.
Well, again, I have an exceptional relationship with the media, and like I said, school safety is at my top. I mean, we have several things at the top of our list, but this one's right up there. So again, I mean, between our law enforcement we have in the schools, the drills we practice, everything that we do, children's safety is a priority. So sure, if this was an Oneida County story, I'd be telling you everything I can. I know obviously there's things you can't tell in some cases, but at least have some communication, because again, the public deserves that, especially the public in that neighborhood, that particular neighborhood.
No doubt about it. No doubt about it. All right, and I do have somebody asking another question that's somewhat related. Can the same law of parental responsibility be used for many of these teenagers we see on the streets of Utica that have guns? Could a parent be held responsible there?
Well, again, there's got to be some intent on the parent. I mean, obviously the situation, the recent school shooting, the parent was involved in purchasing firearms for the child. And obviously a parent has to have knowledge of what their child's doing in order to be held responsible for it. You know what I mean? So there's a little bit of a different situation there. So,
all right. Boating, the way I remember it is, you'd rent a boat as long as you had a driver's license, you're good to go. That's going to change.
That is correct. Well, yes and no in your scenario you just gave. So back about 5 years ago, there was several years ago, there was a tragic boating accident in which a little girl was killed. Actually, it was 2005. Brianna Leineck, she was an 11-year-old, died in a boating accident downstate because the person who caused that accident had no knowledge of how to properly operate a vessel. So Brianna's law eventually was passed, which began a 5-year phase-in period. So over a period of 5 years, from 2020 up until the upcoming 2025 year, everyone that operates a vessel in New York State, depending on your age, had to get a boater safety certificate. We're coming up on the final few months here. So as of 2025, all motorboat operators in the state of New York must possess a valid boater safety certificate in order to operate a vessel. But there are a couple exceptions. And again, one of them is what you had just mentioned, regarding renting a boat. So visitors to New York State, people renting a boat from a livery, or people purchasing a new boat for the first time, they are exempt from this law. But when you rent a boat from someone, the company renting you the boat has the responsibility to explain and basically give you a quick overview of safely operating a vessel. So those aren't the exceptions, though. But the reason we normally do these classes late winter and early spring ahead of boating season, this year we're doing them on the flip side, only because we know there are so many people that need to get their certificate taken care of.
Right.
We're going to begin in the fall. We're going to do some more through the winter, do some more in the spring. And we've partnered up with some of our local first responders. In this particular case, the next 3 classes we're doing one at the Sylvan Beach Fire Department, one at the Westmoreland Fire Department, one at the Lake Delta Fire Department. And you can go to our website, Facebook page, Instagram, X, wherever you want to find us on our app, and we can get you signed up for the free boater safety course.
All right. So the key there is it's free.
It is free. You will get your certificate when you leave the class. There is a fee if you want to get an actual hard card similar to your driver's license issued to you.
Okay.
You can do that through the state of New York, but the course itself and the actual certificate that you're required to have is free.
Okay. I believe the cows in the background I'm hearing are getting you're apparently not paying attention to them.
Well, I have a grumpy bull here who wants to be somewhere else. He wants to be with someone, and he's not. So that's the problem.
We see what's going on there.
Yeah, I go through that often in my own house.
I apologize. So.
No worries at all. That's good stuff. All right, Sheriff, we appreciate the time as always. Thank you so much.
All right. Have a great day. Talk
You
to
do
you
the same.
Bye-bye.
Thank you, Sheriff Rob Mashel.
That's an interesting level of farming there, where you have to pay attention to all things.
Well,
animals have personalities and desires as well.
Well, and bulls can be very ornery and in some cases very dangerous.
Correct.
So you got to be careful. Davey, I was really excited to see that the Bills and Sabres, the owners, the Pagulas, their daughter went on a real run this week at the U.S. Open. In fact, she won in that we saw in that preliminary game, won in the quarterfinals, and then won in the semifinals, making it to the final of the U.S. Open on Saturday. However,
the luck ran out.
It finally ran out.
She came up against I don't know how to pronounce her name, but the lady that was in the
Ariana Sabalenka
that was in the finals last year against Coco Gauff. But Jessica Pegula, you got to give her a big hand of applause, and she made it. She's ranked 6th in the world.
Yeah, she's pretty good. She's pretty darn good. She lost 7-5, 7-5 in straight sets on Saturday to Ariana Sabalenka, who is from Belarus, if you're keeping track. And then the men, there was an all-American semifinal match.
Yep.
But that didn't work out either.
No.
Did you watch the? Did you join Mahomes and watch the?
I didn't watch it.
Okay. All right.
Mahomes
Yeah,
and
that
Brittany
was the big
Mahomes
thing.
and Travis Kelce.
They don't
and
get
Taylor
along.
Swift were there.
Oh, they were all together.
Yeah.
Well, just because they show up at at an event together doesn't mean they get along.
Well, that's true too.
Doesn't mean they wanna hang
There was
out.
an embrace.
Oh, there
so
was.
the rumor was that they don't get along because they were in separate suites for the game. They weren't watching the football game together.
Listen, if I could get
they showed up at the Open together.
If I could get a suite and I could have my own and you have your own, we totally would do that.
Heck yeah.
I mean, come on. What are you thinking here? Hey, you can come over to my suite later on. We're having shrimp at like 2:00, so come on over.
Could I come at 2:45 and join you?
Well, the shrimp will be gone.
Okay.
By then, but
They're
yeah, you
all
can.
gone.
All right, I got a break. Coming up, we're going to do Hobica's free money question of the day. First, though, Andrew with an update here on Monday morning. Coming up at WIBX.
Warner Sales and Service is here to help get those jobs checked off your list. There's no need for wheelbarrows, shovels, or other hand tools when you roll onto your job site with the Bobcat MT100 mini track loader. With a 1,000-pound rated operating capacity and powerful breakout force, this machine provides unmatched performance and easy access for working in tight areas. Check out the Bobcat MT100 loader at Warner Sales and Service just off Route 365 between Rome and Verona.
You hear more and more about identity theft in the news every day. That's because so much of your personal info is out of your control, like your insurance provider that has your social security number and your favorite retailer that has your payment details. If they get breached, your information's vulnerable. That's why LifeLock monitors millions of data points a second for threats. If your identity's stolen, they'll fix it guaranteed or your money back. Save up to 40% your first year with promo code PLAY at lifelock.com. Terms apply.
It's common knowledge that after age 30, our metabolism changes. We have less energy and gain weight easier. There's a way to feel better, not in years or months, but sometimes in just days.
I'm Chuck Norris. I tried everything. Working with a team of health experts, we came up with Morning Kick. Morning Kick is a revolutionary new formula that combines all my favorite supplements into one daily drink.
Morning Kick has probiotics to help you lose weight, prebiotics for digestion, superfoods for muscles and joints, and powerful anti-aging supplements. It'll help you feel youthful, energized, and helps manage stress.
I look and feel better than I have in years.
Go to roundhouseprovisions.com, use code SUPPORT, or text SUPPORT to 511-511 and claim 40% off. roundhouseprovisions.com, code SUPPORT.
Every purchase comes with our 90-day money-back guarantee. You could be feeling these changes within just a couple of days.
Text SUPPORT to 511-511.
These statements have not been evaluated by the FDA. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease. Tax fees may apply.
Getting quality employees to fill positions in your company is essential, but finding those people can be a major hassle, unless you use ZipRecruiter. ZipRecruiter makes finding quality people a breeze. And right now you can try it for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. With ZipRecruiter, one click sends your job to hundreds of top job sites. But more than that, ZipRecruiter's advanced technology identifies the candidates with the skills you need, sends you a list of great matches to review, then actively invites them to apply for your job. And the results speak for themselves. 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. That's right, the first day. Now you can focus on your business and let ZipRecruiter do the work finding the best people for you. See for yourself. Experience the ease, efficiency, and power of ZipRecruiter for free. Just go to ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Hey, the official coffee of the Keeler in the Morning radio program is from Daylight Donuts. Chuck and everybody over there at Daylight have you covered with a very speedy drive-through. You're in, you're out, you're on your way. And they're finishing up that construction, by the way, over in New Hartford. So it's easy in, easy out, and it's Seattle's best coffee. This coffee is amazing. Some enjoy it with all the, all the cream and sugar and flavorings and all that, even pumpkin spice. Others like it just plain black. It's just delicious coffee. And again, donuts fresh every day. Nobody else is making donuts fresh every day. They do every morning at Daylight Donuts. Avocado toast is now on the menu with Heidelberg peasant bread at Daylight Donuts. And the croissants also baked fresh every single day with real butter. It's what makes the difference. And, the lattes, over 15 flavors of lattes. Check it all out at Daylight Donuts with a speedy drive-through in the village of New Hartford.
Good morning. WIBX 950 AM, 92.3 FM News Time, 7:34. I'm Andrew Derminio. Right now, 51 degrees under mostly sunny skies. Your full weather forecast is coming up. Beginning today, a major construction project is going to be starting on Interstate 81. The State Department of Transportation says the on-ramp from I-81 south to Gannett Drive will be closed off to traffic and remain so through next summer. Crews are going to be out in the area constructing on ramps as part of the ongoing Interstate 81 project. Detours will be posted to help drivers out. The doors of the Johnson Park Center's new indoor food pantry in Utica will be open to the public today. Normally, visitors have to drive or walk up to the pantry on West Street to get food, but that no longer has to be the case. Low-income families and single folks who meet eligibility guidelines can visit and get help, and new applicants are asked to bring a government-issued ID like a birth certificate, driver's license, or Medicaid card. The pantry is open from 3 to 6 p.m. today and throughout the week. Utica Rome motorists are still seeing savings at the gas pump. That's thanks to another decline in prices. AAA says the average cost for a gallon of regular fuel is now at $3.52 a gallon. That's down 5 cents in the last week and is also 1 dime less than this time a month ago. Right now, the state average is $3.43 a gallon, while nationally it's $3.27. Summer is winding down, but the state's Get Offline, Get Outside program is being called a success. The initiative urged kids, children, and their families to put down their phones and other electronic devices and spend time outdoors instead. From July 3rd through Labor Day, there was a nearly 36% rise in state park pool attendance. Part of that increase can be attributed to swimming pool entry fees being waived. Locally, the Robert Tremon State Park Pool in Ithaca is now closed for the season. And a town of Verona man was arrested following a DWI investigation that occurred in the town of Verona. According to the Oneida County Sheriff's Office, the man tried to outrun deputies on an e-bicycle. On September 6th, 2024, at around 9:30 p.m., deputies conducted a stop of an e-bike on Oneida Street in the town of Verona. Deputies identified the operator as 58-year-old Timothy Warden of Verona. While stopped, they say Warden attempted to flee on the e-bike before being quickly apprehended by deputies. He's facing several charges, including driving while intoxicated. WIBX 950 AM, 92.3 FM News Time, 7:37. Your forecast for today: partly sunny with a chance of rain and thunderstorms. We'll see a high near 70. Cloudy overnight with a chance of rain and thunderstorms likely, a low in the low 50s. Tomorrow, some patchy morning fog, otherwise partly sunny, becoming mostly sunny with a high in the low 70s. Right now, 51 under partly cloudy skies at 7:37.
All right, Davey, we do Hopeika's free money question of the day at this time every single day, every morning. And we're looking at $100 this morning, along with some other things that we're going to give away, some other options for you. And, Davey, you're looking for caller number what?
Call number 9.
Ninth caller right now through the lines at 315-736-0186. Caller 9, your chance to win from Hobica and WIBX is right now.
I don't like onions. I'm doing paleo. Do they have gluten-free bagels? You can't juggle every food request for a work event, or can you? EasyCater is the all-in-one tech platform that makes it easy to get restaurant catering for work, with options for any group's size, taste, dietary preference, or budget. EasyCater saves your favorite restaurants and orders, which makes reordering a snap. Need to modify an order? No problem. So when it comes to food for work, make it easy on yourself with EasyCater. Start your order at easycater.com.
Texting enrolls you in recurring automated marketing text messages. Consent not required to purchase. Message and data rates may apply.
Leaving for the gym so early?
I'm ready to go.
Since you started taking Nugenix Total T, you've been acting like when we met in our 20s.
I feel like myself again. Lower testosterone after turning 40 slowed me down. Nugenix Total T has been a game changer for me.
What is it about Nugenix Total T that's different?
It's a key ingredient called Tesnor. It boosts free and total testosterone to help you get back the drive and energy from your youth. Total T is backed by 5 clinical studies.
I've seen the huge difference it's made for you in the gym, at work, and in the bedroom.
I'm so glad I sent them a text for my complimentary bottle. Text MAIN to 42424 right now for your complimentary bottle of Nugenix Total T. Nugenix is the #1 selling testosterone boosting brand at GNC and Walmart. Do it now, and we'll also send you a bottle of Nugenix Thermo X, our newest, most powerful fat burner ever. Absolutely free. Text MAIN to 42424. That's MAIN to 42424. Products and statements have not been evaluated by the FDA. These products are not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease or illness.
Mattress Express's Labor Day sale is here. Take up to 60 months to pay for anything in the store with no money down for qualified customers. Save up to $700 on Tempur-Pedic, $1,000 on Purple, $700 on Stearns & Foster, and $1,350 on Puffy.
WIBX.
This is Keeler.
WIBX 950 and 92.3 FM.
Now back to the Keeler Show.
All right, Monday morning, and we're going to be looking at some clouds today with some showers, highs in the upper 60s. Tomorrow, upper 60s and sunshine, and then it starts. Upper 70s Wednesday, and then 80s for a stretch of about 5 or 6 days.
Yeah.
So some warm weather on the way. Pretty darn excited about that. All right, it's time for Hobica's free money question of the day, and ready to go this morning is the one and only Mike and Skyler. Hello, Mike. Good morning.
Hey, good morning. How you doing?
Big day today.
Yes, yeah, big day. Oh, that's right. They got the Apple announcement I saw.
Yeah.
And
gonna be a big day. And that's where a lot of artificial intelligence is going to be added to Siri and the iPhone and all that. They'll introduce new iPhones today.
That's right, and it'll give the announcements of when you can get all the updates on the devices and stuff. Hey, did you know I was at that Mets game?
Saturday. You got to win Saturday.
Yeah, it was the 9th in a row. It's the first time I've ever been to the stadium. We went there. It was there was no score for the longest time. And all of a sudden,
boom! Yeah,
they started the home. Yeah, they started the home runs.
Same thing happened on Sunday, except the Mets scored 2 and then ended up losing. So, okay.
I do like what they do too. I guess right between each inning, they always have something going on. One of the mascots was like giving away shirts, like shooting them out of a gun or whatever to give to the audience and stuff.
So you had really good seats, right?
Yeah, right before the Mets dugout.
Okay,
right behind the Mets dugout.
All right, I'll have to go back and look at that game and see if I see you in the stands. I'm sure I do. Okay, are you ready? You'll have 7 seconds to answer the question. $100 on the line here this morning, plus some other stuff. Are you ready to go?
Yes, I am.
Okay. All right, here's your question. A legendary U.S. president refused to kill a bear on a hunting trip. That story resulted in the creation of this toy. Ready, go.
Teddy bear. It was Teddy Roosevelt.
It was Teddy Roosevelt. You can just stop the whole thing. He's the winner.
Yeah! You wanted to give away some money today.
You won $100. Plus, we're going to give you the all-in-one food and fun card. Good at the upcoming Comets games. Anything at Nexus or the Adirondack Bank Center. That box lacrosse world championship is coming.
Coming fast.
That's going to be enormous. And we'll talk with the county executive about that later on this morning. And, of course, good at Babes or Aquavino, Taylor and the Cook, and the list goes on. So, and if you'd like, you want to go to see that Beatles tribute show, 1964?
Oh, Beatles tribute show, 1964. Yeah. Where's that at?
That'll be the Stanley coming up on September 19th. So
yeah, I like that.
All right, we're gonna hook you up there
you're
too.
You're just throwing all sorts of stuff
all sorts of stuff. Today,
just so you know, throw in there.
Okay.
In Rome, you know where Teddy's restaurant is.
Yes.
You ever go in there? Because if you go in there, you see pictures of teddy bears, because I guess they look a tribute to Teddy Roosevelt.
So the story goes that they went on a hunting trip. He was invited on a hunting trip, and he did not. Everybody got a bear. Everybody shot a bear except for Teddy Roosevelt. So everybody got nervous that it might embarrass him. So they went out and they found a bear, and they kept clubbing the bear and knocking the bear, and they tied the bear up, tied him to a tree, and then brought over Roosevelt and said, "Go ahead, shoot him." And Roosevelt said, "No, I can't do it."
And that's how he got the nickname Teddy Bear.
Teddy Bear.
Teddy Bear.
Yeah.
That's right.
And today is National Teddy Bear Day. If they're, to make it even that much easier for you. All right, stand by. Davey is going to hook you up. Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
Appreciate it. Thank you. So he gets $100 and then some.
Oh yeah, we just love giving stuff away here.
I give away stuff like, and anybody want to win a pair of, actually a 4-pack of tickets for the RV show coming up the next weekend at the New York State Fairgrounds. I have a 4-pack of that if you want. Be the first caller to tell Davey I'd like those tickets, and we'll give you admission tickets to the New York State Fairgrounds for the RV show. That's next weekend.
I have to tell you, some of those vehicles have come a long way. Whether you're just looking for a small tow-behind camper or like the tour bus, type RV.
We were on our way back from Buffalo on Saturday, and there was the tour bus. So the big, not an RV, but a tour bus.
Yeah,
and they were custom tour buses. So they were built like you might have those if you're a celebrity, or you're a concert performer or something. But these were it looked like just people. And there were 5 of them in a row.
Whoa.
It was like, and they were all Florida license plates. So I'm thinking, I don't know, were
they're retreating back down south?
Is it
for the winter?
Well, they may be headed to the south. That's possible too.
Yep.
But I'm wondering, were they, 5 brothers? They all grew up, and the wives all got along, and they decided we're all going to get these tour buses, and they're carrying their $60,000 pickup trucks are being towed behind.
You're seeing
RVs.
all this really?
Oh,
on the throughway?
Yeah.
Wow.
Well, you're following. You can see. I don't know what was going on inside, but I can certainly tell you what was going on outside. As of course I was passing them. And then we stopped at a rest area quickly, got back on, and I passed them again. But I mean, those RVs have to be $100,000 each,
at least.
Tricked out, bedrooms inside, bathrooms, whatever.
At least 100,000, maybe more.
Little kitchen. I mean, really something beautiful. And you think you got a $100,000 RV, then you're carrying with you probably a $60,000 pickup truck.
A nice insurance premium, probably.
You're talking about, close to $200,000 in gear that they're taking with them.
And there was 5 of them.
The one pickup truck had this beautiful RV, like ATV on top in the
bed of the truck.
The bed of the truck. Yeah, it's pretty impressive. Let's see. I mentioned that today is National Teddy Bear Day.
Yes,
If you care. I thought this was kind of a terrible story. This person had very bad breath.
Oh boy.
And decided that it was so bad and so abnormal that they were going to go to the doctors.
Yeah, naturally. They want to.
So the man had the uncomfortable sensation of something crawling around inside his nose.
Oh. Stop.
It was a cockroach that had crawled in through his nose.
And that's why he had the bad breath?
Yeah.
Oh.
The 58-year-old man woke up with that sensation, which turned out to be a cockroach.
That is just
Eventually,
disgusting.
it crawled down his throat. The man couldn't cough it out, but was able to finally go back to sleep. Like, who could do that?
Oh, God.
The next day, he was able to recall the whole incident and also noticed that his breath was really bad. That's when he started coughing up yellow gunk. An ENT specialist came in and learned that it was a cockroach. Doesn't that make you really
fear.
sick? I've got another story, too, that's gross, if you don't mind.
Yeah, sure, why not?
Going with the gross stories. This person in Arizona claims that in the shower, he sneezed up a piece of Lego that had been lodged into his nose for 25 years.
That's no way.
Andy Norton, I should say.
Andy was snorting.
Telling the story about what went down. Here we go.
Shower, and my doctor has told me that with the dry, hot summer months, it's really helpful to blow your nose while you're in the shower. So I've been regularly doing this for the last 6 months or so. Today, I was blowing my nose in the shower, and lo and behold, I blew out a Lego dot that has been in my nose for at least 26 years.
Do you believe him?
I find that very hard to believe. That you wouldn't have gotten that taken care of. How did it get up there? When you were a kid, did you shove it up there?
Well, that is a common thing that kids will end up doing.
I just think it's a little bit of a I want to be TikTok famous story, and here we are talking about him now.
Yep. An investigation into New York City's public bathrooms has found that two out of notice how there's a trend
There's
here.
a grossness to this.
Found out that two out of every 3 public restrooms in New York City were closed or had a safety issue. They're saying they have a real problem with public restrooms in New York.
Well, it doesn't surprise me. Probably people going in there and unfortunately using drugs.
One solution is a map to good bathrooms. People are trying to come up with a solution at Go New York City. Here's Teddy Siegel here on Teddy Bear Day. We're tying it all together. And Mark Levin talking about he's the one of the borough presidents, about the digital maps that are being created to get people to a safe and clean bathroom, public restroom in New York City.
Everybody's got to go, and I personally don't believe that it should be a privilege to have access to a public restroom.
We needed a good old-fashioned map on paper. We have all been caught out there. When you got to go, you need a bathroom. But it is still too often, too hard to find a public bathroom.
Very difficult to find a public restroom. Therefore, the only way to really go about it is to go into a restaurant. You go into a restaurant, you order a few things, then you use the bathroom.
Go to the park.
Because otherwise, you could get public restrooms in the park. But those things, listen, I hear people say all the time, and we're in New York a lot. I hear people all the time say, New York is so unsafe now. I wouldn't go to New York. That is bullcrap. It is. I'm going to tell you right now. You want to know New York when it was unsafe? It was the 1980s.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember taking my parents, my father and my mother. They wanted to go to New York City, and the kids were young. And we took them. My father followed behind in his car. And we came in off the Hudson Parkway. We came in on the west side. And as we're driving in, right around 7 o'clock at night, you know, we're in December. It was the holidays that we went. So
yeah, right.
It's getting dark. It's dusk. And all of a sudden, I look in my rearview mirror, and there are 3 prostitutes with their arms inside my father's window of his car. They're reaching in, and he's trying to roll the window up. Or the times that when I was a kid, I went to New York City in the 80s, where Times Square was like a war zone. All before Rudy Giuliani.
Yeah.
But you look at New York City today, and you compare it to from today to 2 years ago. It is far safer today. Oh, yeah, but people are being pushed into the subways. People are being. You have 8.5, almost 9 million people in New York City. You're going to have crazy things. You're going to have protests. You're going to have some awful stuff.
People setting themselves on fire.
It's been going on forever. Anytime you get large amounts of people like that, you're going to get that. I don't find that it is any less safe than 5 years ago or 10 years ago in New York. And by the way, I go there a lot. I'm just saying.
By the way, we were talking about those tour buses.
I'm talking about this because I was arguing with somebody just yesterday about this. No, it's terribly unsafe. It's not. I'm arguing with people about this all the time. How in the world do you allow your daughter? Well, she's 22. It's not like I can say you're not going.
Right, exactly.
But I do not believe this. Did you see there was a fight there the other day in the subways? These two were fighting, and the one kid jumped into the subway.
Yes, I saw that story.
And died.
Yeah.
He jumped in to get away from the guy punching him. Crazy people, crazy things. Been going on for a long time.
Bill Morehouse weighing in on the tour bus sightings.
Does he have one? And ask him what was going on the other night.
He doesn't have
the
one.
The other day at the curling play. It was packed there over the weekend.
Oh, I don't know what was going on there, but he said those tour buses tricked out go for $300,000 to $500,000.
Is it that much?
Yeah. That doesn't surprise me.
Wow. Well, that was a very a family that's had some great success. 5 of them. Going down the New York State Thruway.
It is uncommon to see that stuff.
That guy in the Netherlands had himself delivered in a box so he could get entry into his ex-girlfriend's house.
Oh, my God.
Talk about creep. He told a judge it was the only way he was able to get his stuff back, however.
I'm the man in the box.
Wow, wow, yeah, yeah, yeah.
He was a big fan of Alice in Chains.
Yes. Who isn't?
I saw an amazing story about Friday beers. Are you familiar with this?
I'm not. I'm not in tune with the beer realm anymore.
It's these guys that were trying to create their own beer, and they believe that Friday is actually not just a day, but it's a feeling. It's an event. It is. I mean, we all look forward to it, and it's not just on Friday. It could be Saturday, Sunday, too. Anyway, they created a beer, and they were looking for the perfect beer, and they were going to breweries for assistance. And there's a whole YouTube, like 3-part series. You got to watch this. I'll post it later today. Friday Beers. Where did they end up to create their beer? In Utica, New York.
Get it?
In fact, the best beer they were able to come up with, because they're trying to make a light beer with flavor. We should get Fred Matt to talk about this because he's in the video. The best beer they were able to come up with was Utica Club. They loved Utica Club. And they've created this beer called Friday Beers, which is a light lager, but more flavorful than any light beer you've ever had. And it's made in Utica.
That is awesome.
It's a great story. You can check it out. The Sprite Slice. Remember the soda Slice? The Sprite competitor from the 90s. It claimed to have real fruit juice. It's coming back. It's been acquired by Suja Life. They're planning on Slice hitting the shelves in 2025.
Introducing a new soft drink with 10% real juice. New Slice.
We got the juice, and I see blast. A burst of juicy.
Enough of that. It's a very bad 90s commercial. And then one more. At least 3 wildfires in Colorado this summer have been blamed on flaming bird carcasses. It's a terrible story.
What?
It happens because they catch fire after they're electrocuted by power lines and then ultimately create a wildfire. Here's a biologist talking about the whole thing. If you go along the Thruway and you look at the power lines and they have the towers, you look up on top, there are giant nests. I believe those are eagles' nests. And you'll see birds, especially if you get out near the wildlife refuge, if you're heading west. You see a lot out there. But, what happens, they get electrocuted. The nest catches on fire, falls to the ground, catches the whole forest on fire. Here's a biologist talking about what happens.
Most often when a bird is electrocuted, it doesn't catch fire and then we don't hear about it. Sometimes they burst into flames, sometimes they just fall dead. Sometimes what can happen is insects can get inside that cap. Well, that attracts birds. Birds like to eat insects, in particular woodpeckers and crows. Something like that could have sat on that jumper wire and pecked into that arrestor cap, trying to get at the insects, making contact with the energized components, and then causing it to catch fire.
There you go. Flaming birds that explode and cause wildfires. It's a real thing. And I have seen, I think in the last probably year, I've seen two bald eagles. There are a lot of them out there now. And you'd never see an eagle around here.
That's cool.
But now you see more. Coming up next hour, Joe Cardinal. He's a retired NYPD lieutenant commander. He'll tell you New York City is less safe. I don't want to get into it with him. Millions of illicit cannabis packages disguised as children's candy seized in California, a real problem. And much to talk about. The county executive, Anthony Picenti, coming up next hour as well. That's 8 o'clock hour on WIBX.
Get an extra 1.25% off with AmeriQ Credit Union. For a limited time, we're offering you the lowest rate possible on a new auto, motorcycle, and recreational vehicle loan when you connect it to an AmeriQ checking account with automatic payments. Apply now for an extra 1.25% off before time runs out. AmeriQ and you. Let's connect. Visit ameriq.org/loan sale to get started. Membership eligibility is required, insured by NCUA.
I don't like onions. I'm doing paleo. Do they have gluten-free bagels? You can't juggle every food request for a work event, or can you? EasyCater is the all-in-one tech platform that makes it easy to get restaurant catering for work, with options for any group's size, taste, dietary preference, or budget. EasyCater saves your favorite restaurants and orders, which makes reordering a snap. Need to modify an order? No problem. So when it comes to food for work, make it easy on yourself with EasyCater. Start your order at easycater.com.
From the Stanley Theater Studio, WIBX Utica, Rome.
W295EI.
WIBX 950 and 92.3 FM, a Town Square media station.
They're about to start day 3 of a manhunt in Kentucky. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News.
If you're home, keep your doors locked.
Randall Weddle is the mayor of London, the small town south of Lexington, where they're searching for a highway shooter.
While these guys or this person is on the loose, we are asking everybody to be safe.
Some schools canceled classes as police keep looking in the woods near I-75 for Joseph Couch, suspected of shooting at cars Saturday, wounding 5 people.
Deputies say they arrived on scene to find absolute chaos. Cars on both sides of the interstate, some with windows shot out and bullet holes in some of the vehicles. They also believe they found the weapon that was used in the shooting in a wooded area.
Fox's Christina Coleman. House Republicans have a new report critical of the 2021 U.S. withdrawal from Afghanistan, alleging the Biden administration lied about the situation that August. Congressman Tim Burchett tells Fox Vice President Harris is culpable.
She can laugh her way through it, and the media can bail her out. The CNNs of the world will bail her out, I'm sure. But the reality is she shares blame in this, and there's blood on their hands.
Another withdrawal turned chaotic as the Taliban retook control of Afghanistan. It included a suicide bombing that killed 13 American troops. Democrats dismissed the GOP report as just partisan politics. A wildfire burning out of control east of L.A. near Highland, California. It's torched more than 31 square miles, forcing evacuations, threatening thousands of homes and businesses. There are questions for police in Miami after some NFL drama before the Dolphins game. Star receiver Tyreek Hill was handcuffed and briefly detained outside the stadium, reportedly for reckless driving, but Hill says he doesn't understand what happened and didn't curse at officers or do anything to escalate the situation.
Miami-Dade Police Director responding, quote, "One of the officers involved in the incident has been placed on administrative duties. I'm committed to transparency and accountability." Dolphins defensive lineman Calais Campbell telling reporters after the game he was also put in handcuffs when he was trying to de-escalate the incident.
Fox's Todd Pyro. Hill played in the game and scored a touchdown on the Dolphins' win. America's listening to Fox News.
For anyone living with everyday aches and pains, there's a lot of things you can try. You know, tough it out, bite the bullet, grin and bear it. Or you can try something that has helped so many other people, Relief Factor. Relief Factor is a 100% drug-free daily supplement that helps your body fight pain naturally. Developed by doctors, Relief Factor uses a unique formula of natural ingredients that addresses the inflammation where pain starts. And Relief Factor doesn't just mask pain for a short time. It helps reduce or even eliminate it all day, every day. Wherever you're hurting, your back, neck, joints, or muscles, in about 3 weeks or less, you'll see a difference and rediscover what it's like to feel better and live better. So if everyday pain is affecting your life, don't go with the mind over matter approach. Try Relief Factor instead. Go to ReliefFactor.com or call 1-800-4RELIEF and save on your first order. That's 1-800-4-RELIEF. Fight pain naturally with Relief Factor.
Former President Trump and Vice President Harris getting ready for their first debate on ABC tomorrow night. After replacing President Biden as the Democratic candidate, she's been prepping in Pittsburgh.
We do expect some broad themes from what the campaign is calling a new way forward, talking about building an opportunity economy, lowering costs for families, safeguarding fundamental freedoms, ensuring safety and justice for all, keeping America safe, secure, and prosperous. Now, Democrats are trying to tamp down expectations for Harris ahead of the debate, but there was a pretty sobering New York Times poll over the weekend for the Harris campaign showing this neck-and-neck race with a slight edge to Trump, but within the margin of error. But that would seem to show that much of Harris's post-convention bounce may have dissipated.
It's Fox's Doug Luzader. Stocks could rebound on Wall Street from the big sell-off last week, the worst one of the year. Dow futures up almost 300 points. Now back to the NFL. On Sunday Night Football.
First and goal from the one. It is Montgomery. It is a Detroit Lion overtime win.
The call on NBC is the Lions beat the LA Rams 26-20 in OT. Earlier, Dallas beat Cleveland, and New England upset Cincinnati. The Patriots' first game this century without Bill Belichick as the head coach. Jim Harbaugh won his LA Chargers coaching debut, beating Las Vegas. We mentioned the Dolphins and the Tyreek Hill situation. Miami in a comeback winning beat Jacksonville 20-17. At the U.S. Open, Taylor Fritz fell short, trying to become the first American man to win that tennis tournament since 2003.
Jannik Sinner is the hard court king and extends the American men's major drought.
Courtesy ESPN, Fritz couldn't recreate the magic from his semifinal win, falling in straight sets 6-3, 6-4, 7-5 to Sinner, who adds the U.S. Open to the Australian Open that he won to start the year. The American men's Grand Slam drought will extend into 2025. Tim McMaster, Fox News.
Joey Logano won the NASCAR playoff race. I'm Dave Anthony. This is Fox News.
Good morning, WIBX 950 AM, 92.3 FM news time, 8:05. I'm Andrew Dermenio. Right now, 53 degrees under partly cloudy skies. Your full weather forecast is coming up. This update brought to you by Clinton Tractor, the leader in service. Visit clintontractor.net. A town of Verona man was arrested following a DWI investigation that occurred in the town of Verona. According to the Oneida County Sheriff's Office, the man tried to outrun deputies on an e-bicycle. On September 6th, 2024, around 9:30 p.m., deputies conducted a stop of an e-bicycle on Oneida Street in the town of Verona. Deputies say the operator was 58-year-old Timothy Warden. While Warden was stopped, they say he attempted to flee on the e-bike before he was quickly apprehended by the deputies. They ultimately determined Warden was operating a motor vehicle in an intoxicated condition, and he was subsequently charged with obstructing governmental administration and driving while intoxicated, plus other traffic violations.
It is funny how alcohol skews your
judgment.
And
here's the thing.
Because and not necessarily in this particular case, but you know, if you decide you think you're going to be able to get away on an e-bike, that's probably
they have some speed. So
yeah, but you got a cop car behind you,
right? Yeah,
they have some speed.
They have a lot of speed. Yeah. It depends on if the deputies were footbound or if they were on a bicycle, but odds are they're in a vehicle.
Okay. Yeah.
Don't.
I guess we don't know the full story.
You can be arrested for DWI on a garden tractor.
Do you think we really need to tell somebody not to do it?
No, I think sometimes maybe we do need to remind them.
This does seem like a unique case, but I could be wrong. Sorry.
That's okay. The doors of the Johnson Park Center's new indoor food pantry in Utica will be open to the public today. Normally, visitors have to drive or walk up to the pantry on West Street to get food, but that no longer has to be the case. Low-income families and single folks who meet eligibility guidelines can visit and get help, and new applicants are asked to bring a government-issued ID like a birth certificate, driver's license, or Medicaid card. The pantry is open from 3 to 6 p.m. today and throughout the week. Utica-Rome motorists are still seeing savings at the gas pump thanks to yet another decline in prices. AAA says the average cost for a gallon of regular fuel in the region is $3.52 a gallon. That's down 5 cents in the last week and is also 1 dime less than this time 1 month ago. Right now, the state average is $3.43 a gallon, while nationally it's $3.27. Summer is winding down, but the state's Get Offline, Get Outside program is being called a success. The initiative urged children and their families to put down their phones and other electronic devices and spend time outdoors instead. From July 3rd through Labor Day, there was a nearly 36% rise in state park and state pool attendance. Part of that increase can be attributed to swimming pool entry fees being waived. And Boeing's Starliner spacecraft is back on Earth on Friday. The unmanned capsule released from the International Space Station and began its 6-hour journey home. The Starliner landed at New Mexico's White Sands Space Harbor late Friday night. It launched to the ISS back in June with 2 astronauts aboard in its first crewed test mission. The mission was expected to last 8 days, but mechanical issues kept the craft and astronauts up in space for 3 months. Those 2 astronauts will remain in space until February of next year. It is 8:09, your weather forecast. Calling for partly sunny skies with a chance of rain showers and thunderstorms today, a high in the low 70s. Cloudy overnight with rain and thunderstorms likely, a low in the low 50s. Then tomorrow, some patchy morning fog, otherwise partly sunny, gradually becoming mostly sunny, with a high near 71. Then we're in the 80s for the remainder of the week into the weekend.
Into the weekend, and it looks like a nice stretch of 80-degree weather with sunshine.
Indeed. It is 8:09. Right now, 51 under partly cloudy skies. 53, I should say. Sports brought to you by IBEW NECA 43, local contractors. The Giants looked ugly in their first game of the season. They were topped by the Vikings 28-6 at MetLife Stadium. Aaron Rodgers makes his return to the field official when he starts under center for the Jets in tonight's season opener. Rodgers is back after suffering a season-ending torn Achilles during last year's opener. Gangrene finished third in the AFC East at 7-10. They'll be facing the San Francisco 49ers in California tonight, Monday Night Football. The Buffalo Bills start their 2024 season with a win after rallying to earn a victory at home. Bills quarterback Josh Allen threw 2 touchdowns and ran for 2 more as his team came back from a 14-point deficit at one point to beat the Cardinals 34-28. The Syracuse Orange football team got it done. They were able to defeat the Georgia Tech Yellow Jackets by a score of, I had it here, 31-28. There we go. 31-28 from the JMA Wireless Dome. They have a bye week already and will host 1-1 Stanford on September 20th. The Utica University football team got it done in the Believe 2-7-1 Bowl, getting the victory on Friday. To Major League Baseball, the Yankees dropped their series finale at Wrigley Field, falling 2-1 to the Chicago Cubs. Garrett Cole was charged with the loss, but they're still in the lead of the AL East at 82-61. They're a half game ahead of the Baltimore Orioles. They'll host the Kansas City Royals for a 3-game set that begins tonight at Yankee Stadium. The Mets were unable to extend their winning streak to 10 after falling to the Cincinnati Reds 3-1 in their series finale from Citi Field. They're tied for the final NL wildcard spot at 78-65 and will visit the Blue Jays for a 3-game set that begins tonight at Rogers Center. I want to let you know that Dr. Tim Del Medico, who used to do chiropractic work, has sold his chiropractic practice because he has been fully dedicated to Softwave full-time. Revive Softwave Therapy on Genesee Street in Utica is one of 4 Softwave clinics that he is operating, and he is a true believer in this technology. I am as well. After running a half marathon earlier this year, I had some severe foot and ankle inflammation, and the Softwave therapy treatments I underwent, 6 treatments, brought my pain from an 8 down to a 0. It mentions, it treats a number of different ailments, from your back pain, knee pain, ankle pain like mine, shoulder. Neuropathy is a big one that it treats as well. And Dr. Tim Delmedico believes in it so much that he has not only opened 4 practices himself, but he's also a distributor of this technology to other practitioners. He was the first to bring it to the area and is very involved in the technology. In fact, there are several sports teams over the weekend that probably used SoftWave for recovery of some injuries in games, like the Denver Broncos, the Cowboys, the Falcons, the Saints, the Steelers, and the Dolphins. Several professional sports teams have these in their locker rooms, also major medical institutions like the Cleveland Clinic, the Mayo Clinic, Harvard University, and more. So if you want to learn more about Revive SoftWave Therapy, you can go online to reviveutica.com. That's reviveutica.com. 315-725-8427 is the number. 315-725-8427. Let them know you heard about them on the Keeler Show, and they'll give you a sweet discount, part of Discovery Days, on your first treatment. Let the healing begin with Revive SoftWave Therapy at 2709 Genesee Street and beyond.
Okay, coming up, we'll speak with the county executive. 2 new pieces of legislation involving illegal pot shops and did I say pop shots?
Yeah, pot shops.
Pot shops and smoking items. We'll get into that coming up in a second with the county executive, and also box lacrosse coming to the area. It's going to be huge. We will talk about that in a second as well. It is, where are we at? 8:13 at WIBX.
Adirondack Home Furniture now carries Smith Brothers Furniture. Smith Brothers has been creating customized living room furniture since 1925 and is known for its high-quality, solid-built, top-of-the-line pieces. Made in America with modern technology using age-old craftsmanship, Smith Brothers offers furniture that you can have confidence in for generations. Smith Brothers is a solid and dependable brand who provide innovative furniture design with every piece. Smith Brothers is a leader in the furniture industry with their award-winning line of upholstered furniture. They have built a reputation for their value and design leadership with furniture of the finest quality. We would love for you to come and browse our extensive inventory and see for yourself. Smith Brothers, now available at Adirondack Home Furniture. Stop in today. Adirondack Home Furniture in the Riverside Center, North Utica, or at AdirondackHomeFurniture.com. Create the home of your dreams with Smith Brothers and Adirondack Home Furniture. 315-738-7817.
For the best in floor covering, it has to be in Sarah's. For the best in carpet, it has to be Smart Strand Silk Carpet by Mohawk.
Smart Strand Silk Carpet is no ordinary carpet. To prove it, Mohawk installed it in a rhino zoo cage. Blake the rhino lived on this carpet.
After this 2-ton rhino gave the carpet his best, messiest shot, the Smart Strand carpet came clean.
This month only at Sarah's, you get an additional 20% off their everyday low price on Smart Strand Silk Carpet.
This carpet will stand up to whatever your family can dish out with its all-pet protection. It's the softest, most durable, easiest to clean carpet on the planet.
With Sarah's Flooring Outlets buying power, we get great factory direct deals and pass the savings along to you.
To prove it, this month only at Sarah's, you get an additional 20% off their everyday low price on Smart Strand Silk Carpet.
Now you see why more people buy from the big store. Route 49 Plaza, River Road, Marcy, and at sarahsflooringoutlet.com.
Have you been thinking about buying a new hot tub or spa? Now is the time. Liverpool Pool and Spa has a large selection of American-made spas and hot tubs. Enjoy year-round for both relaxation and hydrotherapy. Fast delivery and installation available, as well as local service and support long after the sale. Financing options also available for qualified buyers. Stop into the Rome location today on 1501 East Dominic Street in Rome, or visit liverpoolpoolandspa.com for more information. Don't just dream it, live it.
Hey everyone, Lisa here from Fit Body Boot Camp in Whitesboro and Clinton. Are you ready to fall back into that fitness routine? As the seasons transform, why not transform your fitness goals too? Here at Fit Body Boot Camp, we can help you create those healthy habits, and yes, our coaches are ready to help you lose the weight for the very last time. What are you waiting for? Join us today for free, because we are the best of the best fitness center for 3 years in a row. Call us or find us on Facebook to start your journey.
Can your IRA stand up to the next financial crisis that our top economists are saying is at our doorsteps? By allocating a percentage of your IRA into physical gold and silver with a tax-free rollover, you can diversify and safeguard your holdings from turbulent markets and economic downturns by putting your IRA back on the gold standard. Find out how to safeguard your assets with a tax-free rollover with a Genesis Gold IRA. The only IRA that can hold physical precious metals. Call now for your free gold and silver report. Protect your IRA today with one simple phone call and learn how to qualify for up to $10,000 in free silver. Call Genesis Gold Group, empowering faith-driven stewardship. 800-208-8642. 800-208-8642. 800-208-8642. That's 800-208-8642.
Keeler in the Morning invites you to connect with us through telephonic communication at 315-736-0186. Or use the Call Us button on the WIBX 950 app. For additional contact methodologies, please refer to WIBX950.com.
WIBX.
This is Keeler.
WIBX 950 and 92.3 FM.
Now back to the Keeler Show.
So, Andrew, Mike asking this morning if you think Tyreek Hill was given the soft wave therapy after being thrown to the ground by police.
I think probably he would have. He would have had that ability.
That would have fixed everything right there.
Indeed.
All right, in studio right now is the county executive, Anthony Picenti. Good morning.
Good morning, and it's Monday.
It's Monday.
Yeah. Monday.
It feels like a Monday. It is interesting watching these temperatures go up and then down. And
Well, in the spring and in the fall, you've got the heat in the morning, air conditioner in the afternoon type effect.
You've run a consecutive number of great days and then 2 bad days.
Yeah. And they always seem to land on the weekend.
And the weekends, yeah.
Well, not this
the
weekend.
last couple.
So, Andrew, though, I got to say August was kind of like that, where we had such hot weather in July, and then August, out of nowhere, we'd get a couple of 60-degree days. It's really weird.
Now we're into the Burr months, right? September, October.
Well, we're going to have some warm 80-degree days, they say, coming up later in the week, so I hope so. In studio right now, County Executive Anthony Picenti. Let's talk before we get into anything about box lacrosse.
Sure.
This is going to be big.
It is. It's another big event. It comes, shortly after we just did the Women's World Hockey Championships, which were a huge success over 14 days.
Yeah.
And now we've got the box lacrosse, or as they call it, lacrosse box championships, or whatever.
Okay.
They reverse the words
for the
there
naming,
for the naming, but and 48 teams this time. And
that's from around the world, really.
Pretty remarkable. Yeah. And again, to get these two events in this short a time span of Nexus, really, and with the Adirondack Bank Center, I mean, all of that is just really is a testament to the work that's been done there. By Mohawk Valley Gardens, Rob Esch, that whole team, and really what we've been able to do, and that was the dream, and the dream became reality, and here we are with two major championships, centering around what we were able to do in that arena, and box lacrosse is a really big piece. Plus, it's also going to be done at the Oneida Indian Nation community center, where where they were a couple games over there. And lacrosse is big in Native American
they say
history.
That's where it came from. Yeah.
So we're looking forward to it. Starts next Friday, and we'll see how that goes. But hopefully, we'll have another good turnout. I don't see why not. I think people will be excited about it if they've never really seen lacrosse. I mean. A couple of years ago, Rob had an outdoor rink set up or field set up for some games, and people were flocking to it. So we'll see what happens again.
It really is a hot sport right now. In fact,
is.
lacrosse will be at the LA Olympics coming up.
And the colleges, especially around here. Well, and throughout, but between Cornell and Syracuse and
well, you're gonna have to mention you got to mention Lemoyne.
And
they just beat Syracuse.
Lemoyne.
Yeah,
they all are. Those are big recruiting tool for lacrosse players.
Yeah. So this starts not this Friday, the following Friday. It'll go on for
2 weeks.
2 weeks,
just about.
And it is
that's a lot for the hotels.
Yeah, it is.
It really is.
Everything else.
Yeah,
it is.
And then before we get into the pot stuff, sorry.
Before we get into the pot.
So what is next? So all of these things have been done. It seems like we're primed now to take that next move. Whether it be, what we're seeing is maybe advancement with nanotechnology,
sure.
Everything that's still going on in Rome. But in Utica, there still seems to be a lot of area for improvement. You have the harbor. What do you see is next?
Well, I think when you look at, especially when you look at Nexus and what we've just talked about, and not to continue to reiterate it, but to show that we have the capacity and the capability of doing just what has been taking place in terms of all the tournaments. This is above and beyond all the tournaments that take place on the weekends. Go by that area, and this. You've been there. Andrew's been there. You've seen the number of people that come from across the Northeast and across the country, really, that play in hockey and soccer and other events. And so I think that showed that we can handle that. Our goal is not to bite off more than we can chew, but also recognizing that we've been able to do so much in this short amount of time, but that there is the interest there. There is the capacity there, but we do need more towards hotels, believe it or not, as much as we have those. We need more of that, of hosting. We want to see more development in that area for families to be able to do more when they do come in for these events, and that's where the harbor plays in. And I've been, talking with Mayor Galimi about more involvement in that. So I think it's really a combination of what else can we put together on the sports and entertainment side to not just complement because we're doing so well, but to add to it. But again, not get too far out ahead of it. And I know, talking to Rome Mayor Lanigan, we've talked about doing some things out there too, so we can kind of make a connection as well. So I think that those you're going to see some things in the next few months on that type of activity. And then on the job side, Wolf Speed, great news on that front. The triangle at Griffiths for supply chain. We're in pretty good shape right now.
Certainly set for taking it to the next level.
Right. And look, the hospital, I know as much as the controversy surrounded it, but that has added and helped. Yeah. The garage is now open finally.
Yeah.
But all the pieces are starting to look in place. I've had numerous people tell me what a difference Utica looks like after having not been here for 3 or 4 years and then coming into it.
So I was watching this video of Friday Beers. I don't know if you've seen that yet.
No, I haven't.
But it's this group of young guys that beer is a big deal for the 25 to 35-year-old male. It's for a lot of other people too, but that's a big area for these beer connoisseurs. They look at beer so much differently than our generation looked at it. So they were looking to create this special light beer that was flavorful, but a light beer, and they went all over. They met with a big brewery, and it didn't go well. Then somebody said, you ought to look at the mats up in Utica. So they met with Fred, and the favorite of all, their number one pick of all the beers they tried, and they tried many, was Utica Club. So using that as the base, they've created this new beer that is called Friday Beers, and they tweaked it. Of course, the mats played a big role, the brewery. Tweaking it to make it just a little bit sweeter than your average, so flavorful, a light beer that's flavorful. And the thing is beginning to take off and explode, and they said it never could have happened without coming here to Utica.
I think, look, you got Copper City Brewing in Rome that does a phenomenal job. I mean, they've been really, and they've been experimenting with all that. And I think, when it comes to Fred Matt and the brewery, I mean, they have always seen the big picture about how all of that helps everybody and expand. So they have never been, parochial in that regard of, well,
sorry,
we've got Utica Club here and that's it, and we do Saranac and all the other pieces, but and I think that they have helped. I mean, I can't imagine. I mean, I know there's numerous areas and entrepreneurs that they've helped with that. And so that's another big piece of what I mean. Look, beer is beer, and it is part of the fabric of this community, has been for hundreds of years and will continue to be.
One thing that is in the video that when I'm sure you'll watch this video, but there's one thing that says clearly, as they're driving through West Utica to go to the brewery, clearly the only thing Utica has is this beautiful brewery.
Oh, jeez.
So, and that it dawned on me that we have obviously so much more, but we still lack that ability to, you get off the thruway, wouldn't it be great to see the harbor fully developed?
Well, that goes back to
those little in-between pieces that we need to be able to button up to make this the great area we want it to be.
It's about connectivity, and that's what we need to do a little bit more of, or much more of, in those areas, so that you can, the goal has always been the harbor to Nexus to Varick, and throughout the whole, and Genesee, and just loop around and do what walking, like they've done that in Buffalo. I mean, you've been in Buffalo, you've seen it there. They've done it in numerous.
Buffalo's
cities,
a good example for us because it's a blue collar
right,
city.
It is
bigger, but you can see Utica and Buffalo.
But you could do the same thing.
Yeah. All right. Put that all aside. 2 new pieces of legislation involving marijuana. What do we have?
Well, a couple things. And other things we've noticed, obviously, when the legalization, kind of changed the scope of everything when it came to marijuana and cannabis and different aspects of it in terms of the legality. But there still remains an illegal aspect of this, and some of it came about because the state regulations were loose and not controlled and not confusing.
Yeah.
But then also came with a board that wasn't established. The law was established. The review, the authority wasn't put in place. So all of that, confuses. In the meantime, things are popping up.
Right.
And because it's legal, we can sell it. Well, no, you can't. Well, I mean, you can, but there are regulations. And then finally in April of this year, when they redid some of the statute, they allowed for municipalities in case of counties and to do some aspects of regulation. However, it would require some local laws. You just can't, you just can't tie onto it. So that's number one. The other point is just in noticing and just hearing, from the last really 2 years as this has spiraled a little bit more. And everybody's noticed that there's been just an expanse of smoke shops popping up all over the place.
Right.
Which cigarettes have been in play for forever. Cigars, we've seen those, and there have been those set establishments, in over time that have done that. But all of a sudden now there's so many of them, and you have to ask the question why? Why did that all of a sudden, pop up in that regard? Yeah. And in one area in Rome, in particular, in a 2-block area, there were like 5 smoke shops side by side. And, the other point is, and again, you have to ask, so what's happening? Well,
and these are all legal?
They're legal on the smoke shop side, but are they legal on the
for some of the products they're selling within?
And what else are they selling? So that I think, just has been sparking the whole thing about, okay, and we know because of, the strong scent of marijuana, what's taking place in those businesses, because you can walk by them, or there's a restaurant, or there's a store, or there's something else next door that is dealing with that. So all of that, really came, kept, brewing up with us in terms of how do we combat this. With the state allowing some of that, we decided to look at two areas of this, and it's been identified that there's over 1,000 illicit cannabis shops in the state of New York.
Wow.
And there are only 2 actual licensed shops in Oneida County right now.
That's the Exit 33
Exit
on Genesee. Exit 31. Yeah,
Exit
sorry.
30, yeah.
So
Exit
used
31.
to that. There is one at Exit 33 too.
I think Air City. Air City.
Yeah.
And those are the only 2. Not counting the Oneidas, which, fall under a separate category, just to be clear. So, one of the things is so how do we, now that we have this ability, the local law gives us the ability to take complaints, to actually though go in and inspect and investigate and require licensing that is there. And if they don't, we can impose fines, $2,500 on the first offense, $5,000 on the second, $10,000 on the third, and so forth, up to $25,000 in fines. And so they're not properly licensed, but where are they? Where are they selling them? Are they selling them in the smoke shops without that? Because you have to ask the question, why are there so many of these smoke shops popping up? Which at times, back to, you can buy cigarettes in different gas stations and other places. But, there
are some gas stations where I think you can buy legal marijuana.
And there's, the thing is, is it or is it not?
Yes.
It's not, because, you can't disguise it as, well, you can buy, because when the law changed immediately, we had, that tents were popping up on roadsides, bottle of water, $10. And you get
a free joint
a
whatever.
free whatever. Right.
Clever,
and that's another way of doing it.
Yeah.
And that's another way of doing it in these stores. That, so now it gives us the ability to go in. And,
so was that legal? So you could buy a $10 bottle of water?
No, it really wasn't. But but the regulations, again, back to
there's a loophole.
Back to the loophole of how this gets done. So the cannabis one is one law. That's one local law.
So those inspections will be done by the Oneida County Health Department as far as maybe undercover, or they're going to state I'm from the health department.
Could be either way.
It's not anything that's really.
But we also have to find out if they're selling to underage, under that, or if underage workers are there selling the product.
So which comes in, it's very interesting, because an underage person can sell alcohol,
right?
So
there is. And
so how do you? Are you going to follow the same rules or?
Well, but that's an interesting thing on the alcohol thing. On the alcohol thing, liquor stores can't be next to each other.
Right.
Smoke shops can.
Yeah. We are. There are some states where the rules are completely different.
Mm-hmm.
Grocery stores have liquor. Sure. Liquor stores have beer, depending on the state. But we're pretty strict when it comes to our liquor authority.
It is, and it was only I can't remember how many years ago though. Remember in New York you couldn't even buy it on a Sunday until several years ago.
Yeah,
until they opened up that and changed that regulation. So looking at the cannabis thing and looking at that, it's about regulation, but it's also about inspection. It's about illicit, and it's about and that gives us also the ability to confiscate the illicit cannabis if they're selling it improperly, and then they have to get a license and do it the proper way.
I do struggle with and we see a lot of this, where there was apparently a local story at a grocery store. It might have come up on that neighborhood app. I see a lot of stuff on that app that pops up. Anyway, the guy's sitting in his car. He's smoking pot.
Mm-hmm.
Clearly, you can tell by the smell.
Mm-hmm.
And he gets out, and there was some sort of a stare down between him and I normally don't see that, right? Normally people who smoke marijuana, just to get up and get out of the car is like a major decision.
Right.
So, but you know, I at the end of this story on this app, they said, this is the problem. See, I knew this was going to happen with the legalization of marijuana. This is why it shouldn't have been legalized. But I kind of feel like that person that was smoking in the car, it's illegal to operate a motor vehicle and smoke marijuana.
They were smoking in the car before
they were
legalized.
They were doing it before it was ever legal, and chances are he's not smoking stuff that he bought at a legal dispensary.
But therein lies, and I'll leave that for the legal experts and law enforcement. Therein lies the question of, okay, but there is no test in that regard.
I know,
obviously
right.
there is no. I mean, and the fact that you have marijuana on you, which is legal, is one thing.
Right.
You know whether you're, but if you are impaired, obviously
you can't be driving.
You can't be driving. So there's a lot of gray area in this, and it's still that's another whole area that needs to be looked
at. I just I wonder if when we make these statements that are absolute, if they're not going a little too far, and it certainly doesn't help. On the other side, to say that everything is perfect, this rollout has been kind of a mess.
It has, and it's funny how we got to this place, because I've always believed, and I still do, that that marijuana can be considered as a gateway drug in that regard. Now, whether and then we run, we've seen through the opiate task force and everything we've been doing, the expanse of fentanyl laced, marijuana cigarettes, joints, whatever you want to call them, or heroin laced, or whatever else they seem to do. That's another aspect of problem. Obviously, that's on the street level piece, but is it or isn't? Is it happening in these shops? We don't know that. Yeah, right.
If you're buying on the street, that's a pretty dangerous thing to do today.
I mean, it's dangerous on all aspects.
Yeah.
And then the second law is about the Smoking Paraphernalia Act, which goes to vapes, hookahs, water pipes, all of the other pieces, which again are being sold in other establishments, which I believe, and there should be a permit and a license for that, and that's what we put the law in, to pay a $2,500 license fee every 2 years, set standards that they can be within 1,000 feet of a school or daycare or any of those other situations, and that they have to be, that these places have to be at least a quarter mile from any other one selling them. I mean, I think it goes back to the there does have to be some regulation,
right?
I mean, and there does have to be some type of structure in place, and we'll see how they play.
Matt with a question for you, County Executive. Matt, you're on the radio. Good morning.
Yeah, I was just wondering, these shops around, I mean, other than the state coffers, who are they hurting by selling this? And I just don't understand. Don't we have better things to do with our resources than most of these shops?
I don't know if you heard that, but he's basically saying, what is the harm if you have these shops popping up? Are they hurting anybody? And he's saying, do we have? And he's hung up. I'm going to wait for your answer. And what he's saying is, don't we have bigger things to
bigger fish
tackle?
to fry? Yeah.
Well, I mean,
I like how you said it, Andrew. Bigger fish to fry.
Fish to fry.
Okay.
Well, first of all, I mean, I think when it comes to public health and those aspects, that's part of our role, and we have done that. We have done that with smoking. We do that with opiates. We do that with all of these aspects. And centering around this, I think it is important for us to do this in the context of illegal and illicit operations. And I don't think that you can make that other distinction. And the fact that regardless of the legalization of marijuana, don't you want to know that it's regulated? Don't you want to know where it's being sold, how it's being sold, if it's being sold properly.
And ultimately, if it's being sold illegally, you're not getting the
But
tax.
that's no different than
rate.
if you were. I mean, is it right if someone had, was selling alcohol in a place where they couldn't sell alcohol?
Right.
And all of that. So I don't think we're going beyond our reach here. I think we're exactly in our reach in terms of a government to look at ways and also look at, when it comes to commerce, in terms of what our neighborhoods and our retail sectors look like. I mean, take the 5 smoke shops in a 2-block radius. Do you want to go shop over there? If you're not,
Right.
I mean, look, there's still rights to everybody. I mean, the smokers and the non-smokers and everybody else. But I mean, there does have to be some.
I will
some
say,
order. And let's go back to alcohol. Why does
Right.
alcohol have to be that way? But this doesn't.
In Buffalo, we were at a mall that is doing far better than our mall, doing far better than Syracuse. However, when you go to their second floor, it's all filled with stuff that's like, you can get all that stuff store
Right in the
after
mall.
store after store
Sure.
right in the mall.
Sure.
And as the mall struggles to keep people in there, they're allowing
The
all of
food
a sudden.
court, I hear, has been doing really
But
well
isn't-
too.
isn't-
That-
but let me ask
food court is booming.
But let me ask the other question, I guess, and that's what goes back to the numbers. Even when we talk about how close they are or whatever, it's like, so if Andrew opens up a smoke shop today on 100, I'm just using addresses, 100 Bleecker Street, and I say, you know what, I'm going to open up at 102. Why am I doing that?
Right,
Why
right.
would I do that? And there's
Yeah.
something. Doesn't that beg some questions there of what are we really competing on? Am I
Well, they
really
do say, like,
competing with him on the
Right.
cigarettes that he's selling? And is that what
They
we
do
have
say
in place?
the Burger King wants to go next to the McDonald's.
Yeah, but that's
and the Wendy's.
but-
is that the same
but those-
concept?
it's not though.
No, okay,
it's not.
fair enough.
It's not.
Here's Jay in Vernon with a question for as he gets his headphones there for the county executive. Jay, you're on the radio. Good morning.
Thank you, gentlemen. Just a quick question. Not that I'm prejudiced in any way, of any form, but I drive all around. I went to Saratoga. Anyway, you stop at these so-called smoke shops. They're not run by a red-headed Irish kid. Not that I'm prejudiced, but do those people come into this part of the country and our area? Do they get a tax break, or do they just get a liquor license? Why does it always seem to be that there's not a lot of O'Connells or Smiths running these stores? Not that I'm prejudiced. I don't mean it in a bad way, but do they get an incentive to come and open up a store? I mean,
No one, to my knowledge, there's no incentive to open up a smoke shop.
Come to America and get a gas station.
But there is no. But there's also. But there's also no licensing requirement on selling those.
Yeah.
On selling cigarettes. Yet you have to sell. You have to have a license to sell liquor.
Right,
To sell
right.
beer. To sell alcohol.
yeah.
To sell everything. So there's no incentives. It's just. There's a market there. Let's be real honest.
Yeah,
There's a
yeah,
marketplace
yeah.
there,
And
it's proven to be
lucrative, and easy to get into.
It is.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
It's the ease of getting into it,
Yeah,
and that's
yeah,
the other
yeah,
point.
yeah.
John from
thank you, Jay.
Thank you, Jay.
Thank you.
Okay, John in
from
Bridgewater.
Bridgewater, a couple of comments. But first, I'll say, Lance and Lee, smoking paraphernalia itself should not be illegal. You can buy beer at many stores that are very close together. I think he's got 2 separate comments in one there. I don't think you're saying that it's
Not
illegal.
saying I'm not
you
saying
have
it's
to
illegal. I'm saying you're going to
get a license.
You're going to have to
sell
get
it.
a license now, and you're going to have to identify.
So you're trying to regulate the amount,
right? And plus, we're
what
trying
you
to
don't
regulate
want,
where it is. We don't want them by schools.
You don't want a strip of.
Right.
It becomes
And
you
then-
should have those same regulations on car dealerships. I'm going to tell you. Take a look at
John in
Commercial
Bridgewater.
Drive.
Get Rick and Joe Steve.
Oh no,
right, no.
Rick will be all upset.
Andrew, you're always going to have illegal weed sales because the taxes are way too high. That's a fact. Even Exit 31 tax. Thanks, New York State. How much of the weed tax money does Oneida County get?
We get very little of it because the way the law broke it out was that the cities themselves were the only ones that could. The cities and towns and villages. It wasn't a county opt-in or opt-out. It was only for the municipalities, the individual municipalities, and the tax break on or the taxes that are charged are really minimal. The bulk of it goes to New York State.
Let me take a quick break. We'll come right back. I know we have Joe Cardinale, former NYPD Lieutenant Commander. We don't. You bumped that. All right, we'll come back and wrap it. Do you want me to break?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. You look at me like you better break, you piece of garbage. Let me break. We'll come right back at WIBX.
Contractors and landscapers, rent your way to greater profits with Bobcat equipment from Warner Sales and Service. From heavy work right down to the fussy stuff, Bobcat loaders, excavators, and a wide variety of attachments will handle all the tough jobs like lifting, digging, pushing, carrying, as well as the more precise applications, grading and leveling. Tough jobs demand tough equipment. So when you have a tough job, rent a Bobcat machine. Stop by your CNY authorized Bobcat dealer, Warner Sales and Service, just off Route 365 between Rome and Verona. On the web at warnerss.com.
Summer congestion got you down? Whether it's allergies or a summer cold, being congested can change your whole day. You feel tired and run down like you're missing out on summer fun. At Navage, we're here to make breathing easy, easier. Navage uses patented gentle suction technology to help clear out allergens, mucus, dust, and germs without drugs. In as fast as 30 seconds, you'll be on your way to a better day. Look for Navage in brand new packaging. Navage, fresh new look. Same great product.
You hear more and more about identity theft in the news every day. That's because so much of your personal info is out of your control, like your insurance provider that has your social security number and your favorite retailer that has your payment details. If they get breached, your information's vulnerable. That's why LifeLock monitors millions of data points a second for threats. If your identity's stolen, they'll fix it guaranteed or your money back. Save up to 40% your first year with promo code PLAY at LifeLock.com. Terms apply.
Mattress Express's Labor Day sale is here. Take up to 60 months to pay for anything in the store with no money down for qualified customers. Save up to $700 on Tempur-Pedic, $1,000 on Purple, $700 on Stearns & Foster, and $1,350 on Puffy.
I want to learn how to cook, but I keep ordering takeout.
I plan to rearrange my closet, but I stopped after picking the clothes up off the floor.
Accomplishing goals is hard, but when your goal is to learn a new language, Babbel makes it easy. In just 15 minutes a day, Babbel's award-winning language learning app will help you start speaking another language. Start having conversations in as little as 3 weeks.
Comment tu t'appelles?
Comment tu t'appelles?
Vous êtes où?
Vous êtes où?
Babbel's bite-sized lessons make it easy to learn words and phrases you'll actually use. So when someone asks,
"How's your French going?"
you can say,
Babbel est amusant et facilite grandement l'apprentissage d'une nouvelle langue. Et cela ne prend que 15 minutes par jour.
When you want to really learn another language, it starts with Babbel. Babbel, language for life. Celebrating 10 million subscriptions sold. Now try Babbel for free at Babbel.com. Just go to Babbel.com and start learning a new language today. That's Babbel.com. Babbel.com.
You likely know all about our heating and cooling solutions at Fred F. Collis & Sons.
What you may not know is that this just scratches the surface of what Collis can do for your home and comfort.
Insulation, air sealing, indoor air quality, water heaters, generators.
And of course, heating and cooling. No matter what you need, you can always count on Collis.
Count on Collis to help you stay cool and save energy this summer by scheduling your free home energy assessment. Visit fredfcollis.com.
You hear more and more about identity theft in the news every day. That's because so much of your personal info is out of your control, like your insurance provider that has your social security number and your favorite retailer that has your payment details. If they get breached, your information's vulnerable. That's why LifeLock monitors millions of data points a second for threats. If your identity's stolen, they'll fix it guaranteed or your money back. Save up to 40% your first year with promo code PLAY at LifeLock.com. Terms apply.
The Stanley Theater in downtown Utica presents 1964, The Tribute, on Thursday, September 19th. For more information and to purchase tickets, visit thestanley.org.
WIBX.
This is Keeler.
WIBX 950 and 92.3 FM.
Now back to the Keeler Show.
All right, in studio right now is the county executive, Anthony Piceni. Any questions you might have, 315-736-0186. And we're talking a lot about the money that is coming in and the shops that are popping up, and two pieces of legislation involving illegal pot shops and smoking paraphernalia. Is that what they call it?
Yes.
Drug paraphernalia.
Lanson Lee commenting yet again. So under his guidelines, Varick Street should only have one place that sells alcohol. Seems as though the caller was correct to me. There are bigger fish to fry.
No, he didn't say. I mean, alcohol. Is he talking about a bar?
Well, the different
bars
shops selling.
Bars are different.
Yeah.
I wouldn't. I got to tell you, if I'm a consumer,
yeah,
and let's say I'm going out, I'm looking for legal marijuana to purchase, and then there's an area like Varick Street where it's a bar area. Go there because all the bars are there. It's the party area. Every city has it for the most part. I would be a little nervous going to the marijuana area. You're going to have shops that are selling far more than, they're selling illegal stuff. I'm not sure you'd be drawing the greatest crowd. However, in terms of business, one across the street from another usually bodes well for the new one coming in because they're borrowing that business, maybe have a little better sale price.
But and I guess going to whether Lance and the other caller about don't we have bigger fish to fry? I think it still goes back to the issue of I'm not saying they can't sell it because it's legal.
Yeah,
it's legal. I don't have that authority or ability. Obviously, the state made this determination a while ago, and other states have done the same. Obviously, we've seen that.
Yep.
It's about how you do it. And what are you doing? And whether or not, the question becomes, is the marijuana you're selling, proper in that regard, the way it should be regulated, or is it not? And I think that on the first piece really begs the question of, if you're going to do this, then you should do it the right way.
Right.
And you should make sure that it's not, we don't know that it's laced with anything. We don't know that it has any other.
That's the beauty of the regulated stuff you're getting.
It is, but yeah. But if you haven't applied, why haven't you applied for a license?
Right.
Isn't that the question? When you look at, I mentioned, we talked about, Exit 31 in Air City.
What about?
So why isn't everybody else?
Where is the county on? If I want to do there are food trucks, but I want to do a pot truck or. Because they, by the way, exist in other cities.
Oh, yeah.
That's an interesting one. But that's something that also still would, the same as a food truck would require a lice and
that would be the state's purview, right?
I'm surprised.
Peddling, I don't know if peddling, and I'm not, again, before I get hollered at by, I'm using the wrong terminology of whether it's I'm not sure what they call the permits for food trucks and other things that are on. I know there's a permit required. You just can't go drive around. Plus, you got to have the health department does have to permit it, but there's also has to be the ability for you to sell out of that.
If
truck.
I'm a food truck, I want the pot truck right next
door.
Yeah.
But that's why we went back to the issue of the tents that popped up on the roadside selling water.
Yes,
and then giving a bag or whatever,
But you've been able to regulate the pretty well, I think, the fireworks. So we
have to the extent that we. And again,
I don't see any illegal fireworks being sold in these tents.
We haven't. There was the concern that there were going to be, and it was initially there were a lot of tents that popped up.
Yeah,
you've seen that tamper itself down over the last few years considerably. But I think still at the end of the day, we're a county. The health concern of all of this is still centered around smoking. We invest a lot of money in smoking prevention for our young people.
Right.
And for everybody, 13 different cancers. And who knows better than you and others about what this is.
Manasseh's complaint is that, they keep making it difficult to smoke cigarettes, and all of a sudden we're promoting the sale of marijuana.
Well, that's another issue.
But there are other options. So you have the edibles and that sort of thing too that are interesting options. But and then we really do regulate very, very strictly alcohol.
We do,
especially liquor.
We do.
And the liquor, you mentioned a liquor store. We were speaking to Greeley a while back about the rules. And if you want to open a liquor store, you have to prove that there already aren't other options in a
particular area.
In a certain area.
But also, you know, I mean, you looked and you've known this. There have been numerous restaurants that have opened up and don't have their liquor license, but they don't attempt it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, whereas all these other places do.
Not,
and, you know, they'll wait.
Maybe or whatever.
Well, but they wait. They're like, you know, we're waiting for our license. We're waiting for our license.
Yes.
You know, they're not even, you know, attempting.
It's a couple grand.
It is. So that's the other point on
right.
this.
Yeah.
It's a couple grand.
All right, and you know, let's not forget with cigarettes the arrests that occur when cigarettes are
Untaxed.
quote bootleg cigarettes.
Untaxed. The untaxed one with the fake tax stamps on them.
You want to sell pipes, you got to pay.
All right, interesting. And you know, I've got a minute, just out of nowhere, and this is like throwing a piece of pasta up. Do they really do that? Throw it on the ceiling to see if it's done?
We never did that.
I didn't know. Terrible.
Just taste it.
We just taste it. Everybody did.
What are we going to do with the malls? You've got Carousel or Destiny right now that's about could very well be foreclosed on.
You know, the malls are becoming, and we've looked at this. I mean, the models of those are changing into housing. You know, there was an attempt here that got shot down, or at least in the property itself. But other than, you know, the big box stores that, you know, are really big distributors, you know, and in that regard, you know, malls are, I mean, it's funny. You've gone through this transition from downtowns to the malls.
It's crazy.
And now we're going back to downtowns.
I never thought malls would go anywhere, and look where we are
malls
today.
Malls are struggling, but
if it wasn't for Boscov's and Target,
it's a lot of property, and it's a lot of
property.
It's a lot of space. So and they're repurposing them for other methods of whether it's distribution or whether it's industry or whatever.
County Executive Anthony Piccetti, thank you.
Thank you very much.
Good stuff. A lot of stuff to ponder.
And we'll let you know.
All right, good deal. Okay. All right, we got to go. We're back here tomorrow morning. Kilmeade is coming up next after news. Enjoy your Monday, WIBX.
I found a checking account that's just as interesting as my life. With Americu's new high-rate checking, I earn one of the highest rates available and still have access to my money when I need it. I even get paid a day early with direct deposit. Americu connected me with more than a checking account. Visit Americu.org to open a high-rate checking today. Membership eligibility is required, insured by NCUA.
Don Hartman and staff would like to invite you to save 30% on timeless treasures at the Potting Shed Antiques. For the entire month of September, enjoy 30% off the entire store, excluding gold jewelry and coins. Find unique items like furniture, lighting, stoneware, china, toys, glass, silver, costume jewelry, collectibles, and more. Visit us on Oriskany Boulevard in Whitesboro or online at thepottingshedantiques.com. Open Thursday through Saturday. Come find your next one-of-a-kind piece today at the Potting Shed Antiques.
Mom, meet Sarah.
From first-time Nana moments.
Yeah, welcome to Flight 101.
To annual girls trip moments. Your can't-miss moments are worth protecting against RSV. If you're 75 or older or 60-plus with a chronic condition like asthma, COPD, heart disease, or severe diabetes, you're at higher risk of landing in the hospital from RSV. And there are no prescription RSV treatments. Check eligibility and schedule your RSV vaccine at vaxassist.com.
So where should we go next?
Sponsored by Pfizer.
From the Stanley Theater Studio, WIBX Utica, Rome, W295EI, WIBX 950 and 92.3 FM, a Town Square media station.
She's ready. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News. That's what Vice President Harris told reporters in Pittsburgh, where she's been preparing for her first debate with former President Trump on ABC tomorrow night, reportedly using a Trump impersonator in mock debates.
Now, we asked the Trump campaign how he was preparing, and aide responded, "What's debate prep?" The New York Times released a poll yesterday showing Trump with a nearly 2-point national lead over Harris, though within the margin of error. The poll shows Harris can still define herself to more than a quarter of voters. 28% of likely voters say they still need to learn more about the vice president. Views of Trump have been locked in for a while. Less than 10% say the same of the former president.
Fox's Rich Edson at the White House. Nikki Haley, who ran against the former president in the Republican primaries, has endorsed Trump and just told Fox she's on standby if he wants her help in messaging.
When you call even a Democrat woman dumb, Republican women get their backs up too. The bottom line is we win on policies. Stick to the policies, leave all the other stuff.
Now, one potential debate topic is Afghanistan. House Republicans say the vice president shares the blame in the chaotic U.S. troop withdrawal from Afghanistan in a new report alleging
the Biden-Harris administration prioritized the optics of withdrawal over the security of U.S. personnel on the ground. The Biden-Harris administration's failure to prepare for civilian evacuations exposed the Defense and State Departments to lethal threats and emotional harm. Now, included in that exit was a brutal bomb attack near the Kabul airport, which left 13 U.S. service members dead.
That's Fox's Greg Palcott. The State Department and House Democrats are dismissing the GOP report as partisan politics. It's day 3 of a manhunt in Kentucky for Joseph Couch, the accused gunman in Saturday's highway shooting that left cars with blown-out windows and bullet holes and 5 people wounded and another 2 injured in a car wreck.
We do know this guy is armed.
Laurel County Sheriff John Root.
That's why, he could be sitting. And, we're not going to be sitting ducks.
So schools cancel classes in the area. America's listening to Fox News.
For anyone living with everyday aches and